Thanks so much. Reggie, we were talking, there's so many breaking news stories right now with the weather. When all this is changing, all the watches and warnings, how is the Rhode Island EMA handling it as it goes along?
No, they're handling it in a most extraordinary way, because they're going from one scenario to another, being a watch and then a warning back to a watch. And then on top of that, you have a severe thunderstorm warning, which could produce some significant hail and heavy rain. So I talked to them about 2 minutes ago, and they're still going through the communication checks, making sure they're in touch with those several towns and cities, especially those that are seeing some significant rain and wind, because the consideration is certainly they would lose power. We haven't seen any of that yet, but they need to make sure all the redundant communication programs and systems are in place.
And speaking of communicating with everybody, we were saying earlier that Alex DePrado was taking cover in the Burrillville High School, and that's one of the people that they contact, all the school systems, to put them on standby for stuff like that.
Absolutely. School systems, police departments, fire departments, EMS agencies, anything that has to do with public safety that would give us a real concern should they not get the word.
And just the other day, we were hearing about them testing the emergency alert system for the hurricane season. Turns out it was a good thing they were testing it. Did they test it today, and are they using it?
They tested it yesterday, and they tested it again today. They've not used it at this particular point, other than to watch the news and obviously the radio systems telling us, but they did not put EAS into place.
What exactly is it? Can you explain the process behind
EAS is a system that subscribes different radio stations and TV stations, giving us the ability to break the local broadcasting and the national broadcasting and put on local information from the various EMA directors, and specifically Rhode Island Emergency Management Agency. Some stations do subscribe to that, some don't. But I think Rhode Island is certainly covered by the viewing audience as well as the listening audience in our system.
Is today one of those scenarios when the communication system, the new communication system, the megahertz system, are they putting that in play right now? Yes,
they are. They're looking to communicate with each other, but the 800 megahertz system was put in place to ensure that you can talk to Wesley, Woonsocket, Newport, and Providence, and they would all be on the same frequency, and that's worked well.
And that's important, because before they had that system, it meant that they had one walkie-talkie in one hand, one in the other, and they were communicating with fire over here and police over here.
Absolutely, and more significant is they were on different frequencies, and you had to bring them into a mixer and then get it into a somewhat of a unison kind of a frequency, so they could all hear each other and speak to each other. Under this particular system, they're all on the same frequency, and they can all converse with each other rather rapidly and clearly.
Are there any red flags that they're watching for before this becomes more serious as we watch it develop?
You know, a severe thunderstorm can produce some significant rain, certainly some hail. Significant hail can do a lot of damage, but I think we're looking right now at certainly wind, lightning, hail, and significant rain. And
in your previous capacity as Adjutant General, what are National Guard troops doing right now?
Probably at this particular point they've been alerted. I don't suggest that any have been called back. There's nothing that would require that. But certainly I think some units have been put on alert in the event that something more significant happens, such as a severe thunderstorm would perhaps take out a particular area for outages, or trees might fall in a particular way, avoiding traffic or precluding traffic from getting across a major highway. So right now I would think they're on a verbal alert, but I don't believe any have been called back to their armories.
And like you mentioned, though, even if it's not today, it could be cleanup tomorrow.
Absolutely. You just don't know, because the thunderstorm can bring so many other tangential situations with power outages, trees down, hail, and those kinds of things that really might produce a whole set of unseen eventualities.
And you and I have talked about this on many occasions when there are severe weather alerts like this. It's important that we warn people as to what's going on, but we don't want them to panic. What's your advice to people watching at home?
You know, the best thing to do is to make sure that they watch TV, make sure they listen to radio, and that they keep abreast of what's going on and stay in the loop. The worst thing you can do is shut off the TV and say, well, it'll pass, because it could be very well right over your head. So obviously you need to listen to the newscasters, you need to listen to weather, you need to stay tuned exactly and pay attention to what we're being told to do, and do it.
Okay. Probably a good time to remind everybody, too, that we are streaming all this on our website right now. Of course, you're going to keep in touch with the Rhode Island EMA. We'll keep in touch with you and keep everybody apprised of the situation. General, thank you so much for your time today.
All right, General, thank you so much for coming in today for this special report. Certainly good advice that we all